Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Tony Hill, and this is Making Sense of Credit. I'm glad you're here with me today. This channel is going to be about anything credit cards, helping you restore your credit, getting approved for a car loan, boat loan, mortgage, anything with credit. We'll have some content on it. So thank you for being with me. Um, if you like this video afterwards, please like it, share it, and also please make a comment and tell me what you think. Um, Sorry about the quality. Hey, you know what? This is my second video, and I'm sure it'll get better as I go on, and I get better at this stuff. But I just wanted to give you some good content. Stay with me to the end of this video. I will share with you how you can delete derogatory information off your report in 24 hours. Yes, folks, 24 hours. And I do it every day. So stay with me here. I'm gonna dive right into this thing. Look, I'm doing this cold turkey, no rehearsal. I am just gonna go with it, and hopefully you guys will like this video and get some information to take with you. First of all, the other thing too that I should, full disclosure, this video is not really for people who are, pretty averse in credit, mostly for beginners. And actually, some of you people who've been doing credit for a while or understand credit for a while, maybe you'll get something out of this also. But at the end of the day, this is for the novice, the people who aren't, experts in credit. I've been doing this for 30 years. And I started out by not being an expert. Got out of college, I jacked up my credit. My parents never had a credit card, and I had to learn through trial and error, which I'm sure like a lot of you guys are doing. But back then we didn't have monitoring services. I won't give my age away, but it was a long time ago. But first of all, starting out, you might want to get your credit reports. There are a few ways to do that. You can go to www.annualcreditreport.com and get your free credit reports from the government. Actually, it's the law, FRCA, Fair Credit Reporting Act, that you can get one free credit report per year from each credit bureau, Experian, Transunion, and Equifax. So you can certainly do that. One thing that I see a lot of these YouTube videos about credit, they don't tell you, make sure you're aware of that they're going to ask you some information that only you will know. But if you put the wrong information in, it will kick you out and it'll lock you up. So make sure you could probably go to creditkarma.com, not my favorite site, but they do have some good tools. But you can go there and look at your report there or print it out prior to doing an annual credit report. Because one thing about annual credit report, you're going to be able to get all three. Credit Karma, you're only going to be able to get Equifax and TransUnion. So make sure you're aware of that. But you can go to annualcreditreport.com. Make sure you don't go to freeannualcreditreport.com because that's actually part of Experian, which is one of my favorite sites, but they want a credit card. You don't need to do that. Just go to annualcreditreport.com. You can get your free reports there. Also, too, you can follow me at Tony Hill, Tony Hill at makingsenseofcredit.com. That's my email address. And you go to my website, my blog, makingsenseofcredit.com, and check out my blogs there. And please, leave a comment, or if you have a question, please leave a question, or please like my video and sign up for my email. So as I produce more new information, that you'll be able to get it. So a couple of things I want to talk to you about regarding credit. My favorite site is Experian.com. There are many sites out there, and Experian has many different versions of it. But I like it for the novice because you can go on that site, Experian.com, sign up with them for $1 starting out. And once again, make sure when you sign up with them that you put all the incorrect information. Otherwise, they'll lock you out. You have to call them and get your, get it unlocked, but you can get through. But make sure you know the information, because they're generally going to ask you three questions that only you will know. It could be far back as 4 or 5, 6 years old. So make sure you're aware of that. But I would say for the novice, annual credit report is fine, except for you will not get credit scores. Credit Karma is a good tool to use, but look, at the end of the day, Credit Karma is not the scores that the banks use. They use Avantis 2.0 or 3.0, one of those. I know they keep going up, but those are not the scores that they use. Sometimes I've seen 30 to 60, 70 point swings. So make sure you go to Experian.com if you want to get accurate scores. The reason I say go to Experian, because they use Fico scores. Fico scores are what the banks use. That's the best site to go through. You can go there, sign up for $1. Then I think after that it's like $24 a month. But for at least the first 30 days, you can get your free Experian score. Also, too, you can get all 3 scores. So when you get your report, get your score from Experian, there's a section where you'll see, would you like to get the other 2 scores and reports, Equifax and Transunion. Click that. It'll take you to where you have to pay. I want to say it's like $24, $29, whatever. I always say this: if you cannot pay the $24 to get your credit squared away and know where you're at, you're in trouble anyway. So it's worth it. Make sure you get the accurate scores, which are FICO scores. That's my recommendation. Also, too, Experian, you can dispute your information on that site for Experian. And I'll come to you at the end. You stay with me to the end of the video. I'm going to have a credit hack where you can actually get some derogatory information disputed off your report within 24 hours. We're talking 1 day, folks. As early as 1 day. So stay with me to the end. Also, too, look, at the end of the day, it's important, no matter where you are with your credit, it doesn't matter. I tell people all the time, because a lot of people are afraid to get back into the market because after something bad has happened, whether it was repossession or they messed up a credit card, a bank loan, or whatever the case may be. I tell people this all the time. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. It only matters what you're doing now. And if you don't have a credit card and that stuff is old and it's still on your report, guess what? Your credit score is probably low. Yes, it'll get a little better because it goes dormant, because you haven't done anything with it for a long time. And then all of a sudden you want to buy a car. Guess what? You just can't hop back into the market like that without, mending your fences. You have to start somewhere. And the best thing to do is start today. Start today. Know it's on your report and take action. If you don't have a credit card, there's many different ways to get credit cards. I know some of these gurus talk about the fact that, don't get a secured credit card. Well, that's bull, because yes, you do go on a high risk, profile. But at the end of the day, look, I've had clients, because I also do coaching and consulting for clients. And some of my clients have had secured credit cards, and I advise them to get credit cards depending on what their situation is. A lot of situations are different. And I know people say, somebody tell you get a secured credit card, they're crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. Well, I've been doing this for 30 years. Let me tell you something. My 2 most recent clients from about 6, 7, 8 months ago, they got the Wells Fargo secured card. They got, and banks too don't even put that as secured on the secured credit card. So ask the bank. Ask the bank, do they actually report it as secured? Some banks don't. But they got their secured money back. I think they both put $1,000 down, got the money back. Bank sent them the money back, and they got credit limits up to $5,000 unsecured. So it does work. But there are many ways. No, that's not my preference for you, is to get a secured card. There are other ways. You could just go to NerdWallet, which is a good site. You can find a lot of different credit cards, unsecured lines of credit. I recommend going to, Credit One is a good because they have a really good system on how they actually report, and they're very accurate. Capital One Platinum card is a good one to use. If you got really bad credit in 400s, get a Finger Hut card. There are many other cards out there, and some I don't recommend, like Total and Surge, and there's a few other cards I don't recommend. But at the same time, start with the card. You have to start somewhere, but at the end of the day, start. But also too, so once you get going and you start to get some active information, you'll see your score increase no matter what your situation is. What you don't want to do is continue to be a ghost. Also too, let's say for instance, if you have some negative items on there and they've been there for a while, once again, look, I think most of if you don't know, the credit bureau's FCRA will tell you that most credit stay on your bureau from 7 to 10 years, depending on what it is, including taxes. But you know what? Some not, and there are many ways to get stuff deleted. If the account's wrong, if the amount's wrong, if the balance is once again incorrect, the account number's wrong, you have the right to dispute that information. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you to go and dispute everything that's on there. But, once again, you can dispute the information, and I think you'll have some success if you start. Also, too, it depends on what the item is. Because right now, whether you notice or not, you won't see a whole lot of collections on your account because the bureaus have moved away from collections. And now you might see a collection, an item that might be a collection. Now it's fallen into an account of yours, which I don't know if it's good or bad, but you won't see a lot of collections, and you won't see more than likely a lot of public record stuff, just because of the new system. Also, too, I should let you know they're coming out with another new system. It's going to be ultra FICO scores, which is going to be banked on. Your bank account and some other things. And I'll come with you. That's a little bit more advanced. I'll be sharing that with you later down the road. I'll have maybe a special series on that to kind of tell you how that works. But just wanted to talk to you a little bit more about a couple things when it comes to credit. And I just did these randomly, but I was just looking at some excellent loans for excellent credit. If you got the 750 plus scores, even 725, and then some credit unions, and I've done a research on quite a few. Some credit unions you can get very low rates with about a 680 score. So that should be your target and above. I mean, I'll say, look, always shoot for 750, 780. People always say, I want to get to 800. Well, I haven't seen a whole lot of. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've seen maybe 5 or 6 800 scores. But your goal should be to get to that 750 plus, then it'd almost be pretty impossible for anybody to turn you down for anything. But let me talk about, back to my point, let me talk about excellent versus poor. Right now I'm in Atlanta, and there are some finance banks, especially car loans, that will charge people 30% interest. Is mind-boggling. And a lot of the credit unions right now have, with excellent credit, have 2% money and 4%, 2 to 4% money on new vehicles, new and used vehicles in certain cases, depending on the credit union. But on the average, excellent versus, fair to poor scores, it could cost you up to, on a loan, up to $8,500 to $10,000, depending on the rate. It's outrageous. So it's important that you start today. It doesn't matter what you had in the past. It only matters what you do today. So start today. Mortgage rates over say a 30-year period, you could pay as much as $25,000 more in interest. So let's say, for instance, you you have a bad, fair to poor score on a car, on a mortgage, and you take them to term, you could pay anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000, from $30,000 to $70,000, depending on your situation. I don't know your situation, long term, and all those things are going to make a difference. But that's outrageous, folks. It's imperative that you start today on your credit. My goal was to take this short, to be short on this video. I was going to try to keep most of these under 10 minutes. But I want to share a few other things that now that I thought about them. A lot of you guys, had checking accounts in the past, right? And look, screwed them up, made a mistake, and the account was closed years ago. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. I know some people who haven't had a checking account for 10 years. That's crazy. Look, most of the banks and even ChexSystems, they only keep a record of those messed up, terrible accounts or whatever you had in the past, typically for 24 to 30 months. So I tell people all the time is go to ChexSystems.com. You can actually put your information in and request a report. Most people don't know that. Get a report from ChexSystems and they will send you a report. Look, if you get the report back and it's empty, it's blank, it has nothing on it, well, guess what? It's time for you to stop with the net spend or whatever these, I think it was a Chime I've been hearing about, but all these different accounts, and go apply for a new checking account. And I would recommend don't go back to the same bank that you messed up the account with. Go to a different bank. But if you go to ChexSystems.com and request a report, they'll send you a report. You generally get it within 7 to 10 days. And once that report is clear, go back in and apply for a checking account. It's good to have a checking account. Also, to realize that a lot of times you guys get turned down, and I just thought of this off the top of my head. Once again, this is unscripted. Because I ran dealerships for 20 years, the thing used to drive me bonkers was people would come in, they would be at the top of the utilization with their credit cards, and then they try to put $2,000 to $3,000, $4,000 down, where their score is 550 or under 600. No, folks, no, don't do that. Here's what you do. And a lot of you do have okay credit. or fair credit, but it can be good if you did a couple things. Number one, before you buy a car, if you have $3,000 or $4,000 down, and if you have, say, $4,000 or $5,000 on your credit cards, pay those cards down first. And always know your statement date. So you know when to go, when it's after the statement. And once again, if you have a monitoring service like Experian.com, you'll always know what your credit scores are. So when your credit score is at their highest, then go apply for something. Don't go apply for something when your scores are at their worst. Please don't do that. You're hurting yourself. And once again, people say, oh, I'll refinance later. Well, no, because a lot of times people get to the point, they'll forget about it, or something happens, they get a medical bill or something tanks their score. So the thing about it is that before you do it, make sure your credit score is at the high, especially if you have $2,000 or $3,000 down to put down. Reduce your card. If you got a credit card that's $500, don't go apply for a car loan when it's maxed out at $500, because now you're at 100% utilization. Pay that card down to zero. And it's another myth out there. It's okay to pay your credit cards down to zero. It is not a problem. The only thing is what you don't want to do is when you first get a card and you're starting with your credit, don't leave it at zero and put it in a drawer, because it doesn't work. Credit card works like a muscle. You have to use it. As you use it, pay your water bill, take your lady out or your man out for dinner, and you have the money, use it one day, pay it off the next or the next week. Use it it's like a muscle. You have to use it. So that's the only thing when it comes to, not having your card at zero. Otherwise, it's okay to have once you get going, it's okay to have your your card at zero balance. That's fine. But more than anything, try to keep your utilization at 30% or under. And I recommend 20% before you go in and apply for a loan. My thing is, and what I teach my clients, and I have many of them over 30 years, is anytime I send you in, or my clients say, "Hey Tony, you think I should go now?" When I do that, or when you do it, once you know where your scores are, you already know when you walk in, you're going to be approved. I don't know if you ever seen a commercial with the Credit Karma lady, and she knows she's at a 700 score, which is not the real score, right? But she's sitting there, and the banker said, "Can I do anything else?" And she's looking at a chair or something, and they end up carrying her out because she has a 750 credit score, whatever. But once again, know that anytime you apply for something, know you're going to be approved. Don't go in there with a hope and a prayer that you may be approved. Know you're going to be approved. So I'll get off my soapbox. But to continue on, basically, once again, think about that high interest loan on a car, the high interest that you're paying for a mortgage, because those are retirement funds. If that's $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over your lifetime that you can have in retirement. And I heard something, I don't know, like not too long ago, but it says the average bad credit person will have about $120,000 less in retirement because they've been paying more money than people with excellent credit. That's staggering. So actually, I'm going to wrap this up, but before I go, I want to give you the one credit hack that I'm talking about. So once you sign in with Experian.com and get all in, you get your scores and you get your reports, scroll to the bottom, you'll see an area that says Dispute Center. Okay? Click on the Dispute Center, and anything that's derogatory that you do not agree with, you dispute it. And let me share something with you. Experian has been deleting items up to 24 hours. Not all items, but a lot of items. And once again, I have a client that I dispute with Experian almost every day because I have a lot of them. I have a client that will have something that gets deleted in 24 hours. And I can prove it to you, and maybe I will when I'll do my screencastify with you in one of the next series. YouTube's coming up. So, but yeah, go to Experian.com, go to the Dispute Center, dispute those items with Experian that you disagree with, and let me know. Give me a comment. Email me at tonydtkhill@makingsenseofcredit.com and say, "Hey Tony, you know what? It worked." And I've seen them within 24 hours, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks. Typically, I have seen some 20, 30 days. They have up to 30 days to respond, but Experian is very quick. Equifax and Transunion, they take a little longer. You can go to those sites directly and dispute with Equifax and dispute with Transunion. Now that I thought about it, look, not to bash Credit Karma because they have some really good stuff, but one thing you should know that the things that they recommend to you, they get paid off. So I don't like the fact that they recommend some stuff on there that really you shouldn't do, like secured cards. Some of the secured cards with the scores that you guys have, you can actually get better cards. Most of you guys who will do a secure card with Credit Karma, you can get a Capital One Platinum unsecured. So don't go for the okie doke on the secured. But once again, you need to know your actual FICO score. That's why you go to Experian.com. And once again, there are many other sites that have FICO scores. So use what you want, but I recommend Experian.com. And once again, I'm not an affiliate, so I don't get a dime from Experian.com. I just like them, and I've been using them for years. But the reason I say this is the fact that at the end of the day, Credit Karma gets paid off of those. I've had clients who, they say, "Hey Tony," and they put me on with their Credit Karma, and I'll look at their information and their scores, and I'll say, "No, first of all, the score is not accurate. Your Experian is actually 30. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. Credit Karma does not have Experian scores. So it only has Equifax and TransUnion. So I'll say, well, no, have you checked your Equifax FICO score? And they're like, no. Well, I said, go to your Experian, because you have a tri-merge, all three, see what your Equifax score is. And come to find out, it's 30 to 40 points higher. So in some cases too, sometimes TransUnion and Equifax scores are lower. And once again, it just depends on your information. Everybody's different. I've seen people come in, go and say, oh, I got a 650. And then they go and apply for a mortgage, and actually the lender tells them there's a 575. So once again, it's both ways, but it's important that you have accurate scores. One thing that Credit Karma does have, and actually I thought it was better than it was, and because I'm always researching stuff, but at the end of the day, I thought you could actually do your disputes, and they say you can with Credit Karma, with Equifax and TransUnion. Well, actually you can't. You can do it with TransUnion, but you can do one item. Let's say you got 10 items. You can do one item. When you click to the next item, dispute the next item, guess what? The one item keeps coming back up. So that's a serious flaw in their system. And then the other thing, when you just try to dispute Equifax, it takes you right to the Equifax site, which you can do yourself. But once again, use those free sites. Credit Sesame, Karma, it's many different ones that are out there. But use them as a tool. But once again, I gave you a great credit hack. Try it, use it, email me, go to my website, makingsenseofcredit.com. Keep in touch with me. Like this video, please like it. Share it with your friends, and please make a comment on what you thought. Tony Hill signing out. Peace, y'all. Start today. Don't worry about what's on your credit. Start today. All right. Until next time.